Okay. Everyone, please unmute yourself and participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
To the
flag
of the United
States of America,
and to the republic
for
which
which it stands,
one
one
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice
for all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. All right. And we have our rainbow. Donnie Joyner, if you're with us, would you please?
Yes, I am, Bob. I had to some things down because it said my performance was a little low and to cut off some things. So I'll put the video on in a little bit, but right now I had to try to get some of them down. Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, we'd like to say thank you for the many blessings that you bestowed upon us. Thank you for bringing us through these perilous times of COVID. Lord, I ask if you would please to go with us as we conduct this meeting tonight, the Southport Historical Society. Give us the wisdom and the guidance to do what is right. Lord, also for those who might be eating, we'd like to say a blessing and thank you for the food they're about to receive for the nourishment of their bodies. And when this meeting is over with, dear Heavenly Father, I ask that you still remain with all of us, each and every one. These and all blessings in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Donnie. Okay, now, this evening's program, as I mentioned earlier, this is the Southport Historical Society's 2022 annual business meeting. I've been thinking all week, business meetings can be, well, let's say they can be boring. All right. So let's change tonight from a meeting to a celebration. We can always celebrate because we're fortunate enough to live in Southport and to boot, to be members of the Southport Historical Society. So you say, well, what can we celebrate? Well, we can start from the beginning and we can celebrate Joshua Potts. And in 1792, Joshua Potts had a dream of Southport. And of course, now, as you all know, he's the founder of Southport. That Joshua's dream that is now entering its 230th years. We could also celebrate the anniversary, the 46th anniversary of the Society, which was established in 1976. We can celebrate and thank Susie Carson and Eleanor Smith and 43 other founders for their vision of a nonprofit organization, all volunteers, dedicated to the preservation and sharing of Southport's history. We can also celebrate all of the Society's accomplishments, including providing over $30,000 in scholarship funds to local students. We can celebrate the great job that members of the Society did when they refurbished the Brunswick County Old Jail.
Get some cheese and crackers.
Operating a wonderful family-oriented museum. We can celebrate our exhibits at Fort Johnston Museum and the Society's management of the Visitor Center store. Then there's the Christmas Home Tour, the Commemorative Brick Program, our book sales, Canon Thor, the Historic Plaque Program, and the Susie Carson Online Research Room. We can also celebrate the Living Voices of the Past, where Society members portray characters from Southport's past. Plus, the Society has provided for 20 or more history markers and monuments located in downtown Southport. There's also the Historic Walking Tour, which I believe began in the 1990s. We can applaud and celebrate the 20+ books written by Society members to document the history of Southport. We can also celebrate our local partners, including the City of Southport, the Friends of the Harper Library, the State Forest Pilot, the John S. Smith Cemetery Association, the Southport Beautification Committee, Up Your Arts, the Ricky Evans Gallery, and many, many more organizations. Over the past 46 years, the Society has provided hundreds of educational programs, maybe thousands of educational programs and events about Southport's history, including the 80 virtual programs offered in 2020 and 2021 to help the Society's members and our friends to cope with the coronavirus. Over 15 volunteers served as presenters for these programs, making it once again clear that we are a 100% volunteer organization dependent on our members and other volunteers. And we should celebrate that the Federation of North Carolina Historical Societies has awarded the Southport Historical Society with the 2021 Ray E. Newsome Excellence in Local History Award. The award recognized our efforts in 2020 and 2021 to provide virtual programs to our members and friends. This kind of positive recognition by your peers is always a good reason to celebrate. Well, there's a lot more to celebrate, and I would like to hand the podium over to the members of the board to help us celebrate our recent accomplishments. Or before the board members start, I want again to say thank you to all our members and volunteers. You're the reason that the Society is successful. I think Phil Frabel is next on the agenda.
I'm here. I don't see my, there we go. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, is that full screen, Phil? Does that fill up the whole screen?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good. I'll just start out just saying that we had another successful year with the Society, better than we did last year. We had some good income coming in. As you can see from what's on the screen, we've had various book sales, donations. We had a good year in donations and grants. The Fort Johnson store, which is at the the business center, we had a almost, I'd like to say record year, because June and July we were just, merchandise was just walking out the door. So as you can see, we ended up with a profit of almost $4,400 for the year. Membership dues are strong. Brick sales were exceptional this year, and I know Mary Ellen will be talking about that. But we estimated the profit at about $10,000, and we estimated because we haven't got the final invoice yet. That's why that's an estimate. Online sales, that's through the store on the Southport Historic Society website. You see over $20,000 in sales. That's various items, books, brick sales, ornaments, different things. On the downside, nothing unusual in expenses, but I did just point out what we pay for in insurance, which is important to us to cover ourselves if something should happen that never has. In the old jail, we had over almost $5,600 in expenses, and a lot of that is utilities, which we are now required to pay to the city. And that's for sewer and water and electricity. So that is now our responsibility, and should have been all along, but the city never enforced it until somebody realized they hadn't. Now we're in there. So at the bottom line, down at the bottom, we netted an additional $12,000, $681.35, I think it is. I can't quite see the end of it, which is a very good year. And we are financially sound. I think we just keep going and keep what we're doing, and we'll be in good shape. Any questions? And I will say I'm done. Bob, it's all yours.
Thank you, Phil. I didn't realize I had my mute on. Hey, want to go to the next speaker, please? The Commemorative Brick Program with Mary Ellen.
Okay, Bob, thank you. I just wanted to talk about, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I see Bob saying yes. Okay, I wanted to talk about the Commemorative Brick Program. We had an excellent brick program this year. We sold 150 commemorative bricks. The previous year, we sold 79, and that the 79 number was very good because we actually doubled it from the year before. So this year we sold 150 bricks, and it helped our financial status, as Phil talked about, because this year and last year as well, we were not able to have our Christmas tour, and that was the major fundraiser for the society. So we were quite pleased that we sold so many bricks this year to help with our funds. And that's all I have on the Commemorative Brick Program, unless anybody has a question. Just a reminder about the brick program, if there's anyone here that bought a brick and you're wondering when they will be placed, we try to have them in place by springtime, and we will let everyone know when they are laid. And I think a little bit later, Liz will probably talk about a celebration about the bricks.
You're going to talk about membership too, Mary Ellen?
Yes, sir. Okay, just a reminder, don't forget, January is membership renewal month. If you have not sent in your renewal for your membership, please do so. We have not sent out a reminder. We were going to remind everybody during this meeting, and then the next thing we'll do is we will send out reminders, but we have not done that yet. But we've had several people, we've had several people that have already paid their dues. So we have that. The next thing I want to tell is at the end of the year, we did have 384 members of Southport Historical Society. We were up 51 members from the year before. So 2021 was also a good year to increase our membership. And I think it's important to say that, as Bob mentioned in his opening remarks, the society was started with 43 members. So I wonder if they ever envisioned that we would have 384 members when they started. So it was a good year for membership as well. And that's.
Any questions for Mary Ellen? Okay. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Great job.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, and Bob Hagerman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Hagerman. I'm in charge of the book program, have been for several years. We sell our books online. We sell our books at the Fort Johnson store. We sell some of our books at stores in town and Old Baldy. But the most fun for me is selling at fairs and spring festivals and things like that. You go outside on a beautiful day with a table load of books, and you get to talk history with everybody that comes by. It's a lot of fun. And I know a lot of you out there have helped me before, and I'll be calling you again for the Spring Festival. You don't want to miss that. So we have about 27 titles of books, and every year one or two maybe drop off the bottom because they're out of print or they just don't sell at all. But on the other end, we're adding new books all the time. I'm looking at 2 new books right now that we might want to do. And one of the questions that we have to answer is, can we sell this book and make a profit? Does this book meet the mission of the Historical Society? Is it appropriate to what we're doing? So we have to make those kind of decisions before we add a new book. Now, We online sales for 2020 were 154 books. That's pretty darn good. And you saw Phil's numbers. And online sales for 2021 were 150 books. And we probably average a book price, it's hard to say, but maybe $12 for a book, maybe even more than that, because we have some pretty expensive books. So you're looking at our bestsellers right now for our book program. Number one over there is Color Me Southport. That's a fairly new book, and it's a different way of showing history. It's by local artist and historian Pat Carney. And it's a series of line drawings of famous buildings and historical buildings in Southport. And it's a lot of fun. We built 2 classes around this coloring book. And people use it to teach their children about history in Southport. Find this building, let's talk about this building. And Pat has done so well with this book that she's come out with a second coloring book. And the second book is Long Beach. That's more or less a history of Oak Island. And Wolf Furstenau, who wrote this book, told me when the book came out, it sold hundreds or maybe even thousands of copies. And then everyone got a copy of the book that wanted one, and the sales went way down. But however, now there seems to be a lot of interest in history of Oak Island again and Long Beach, and sales have really picked up again. So that's great. Architecture of Southport has always been a good seller, and we've just put a new cover on it. Same material, excuse me, same material, but a new cover. So that continues to sell well. And Home in the River is coming on strong. That's a lot of stories about Southport and people in Southport after the Civil War up till today's time. So that's all I had.
Is there any questions for Bob? Thank you, Bob. Good job all around. Thank you. Desiree Bridge and
Yes. Give me 1 second. Sorry. All right, there we go. I think I'm in like the coldest room in my house, so I'm sorry if my voice is quaking as I'm talking to you all. I have had a hard time staying warm today. Last year, scholarship went really well. We had a lot of participants in it, and we have a photo here of Bob and our winner, Carolyn, for last year's scholarship, and I'm pretty excited about this year's. I've already started talking to anybody I know with children at the high school, trying to get them all excited about it. And we'll start putting out more information about it, and I'll be pinging over to the high school and kind of gently reminding them that we've got this scholarship coming up. Because we have gone through about 2 years now of COVID, I thought it would be kind of interesting to do the 1918 influenza pandemic that swept through the whole entire world, including here in Southport. I would like to see the younger generation's interpretation of not just the 1918 pandemic, but how maybe they could relate it to what we're seeing today, especially if, and Liz is great at this, if you look at some of the archival photos and such, you're seeing them wearing face masks and having some of the same debates that are going on today. So I'm really excited about this topic, and I hope it intrigues a lot of the high school students. The individual that was chosen this year is Kate Stewart. And this woman is just as amazing as previous folks that we've kind of showcased here for the scholarship program. So if, let's say, someone's not too interested in looking into the medical history of Southport, I think they might find Kate Stewart a formidable person to write about. She lived quite a life, and I got to admit, Southport did a good job of creating some pretty powerful female figures throughout its history. So that's pretty much where I stand right now. I'm getting ready to start really pushing the scholarship and looking forward to seeing the papers coming in.
questions for Desiree? I also want to mention that Desiree is the plant lore lady. Desiree does fantastic presentations for us. And the next time she is on a Tuesday talk, you want to come in and enjoy her what she's talking about, and also her energy and optimism. Quite nice. I also should mention that Bob Hagerman, along with selling books, is the society's current secretary. He's served in that role now for 2 years, and he'll be a little more relaxed later on in the program. And also, Phil Fravel is involved in many aspects of the society, including the Christmas home tour, Thor, the plaque program, and on, as well as keeping the books and the records straight. The next speaker, please. That would be none other than Donnie Joyner.
Good afternoon.
Joyner?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of sum up last year's Black History Symposium. Last year was a little different because we had to do it by Zoom because of COVID. And one of the other things that was a little different about last year's is we actually spanned it across 2 weekends. February the 19th, 2021, we did an event with the storyteller Carolyn Evans, an evening with Mary Ann Cord. That was done as a standalone. And the following week, we did a program. It was on a Friday, and the program was called Southport and the Chitlin Circuit. That got a lot of people's attention because we talked about the events that went on in Southport back in the early 70s, which tied in with the ILA Hall, where we had certain rhythm and blues groups coming in, and Mr. Henry Rose and the late Joseph Burney were the driving forces in getting these people into Southport. I'm not talking about local artists, well-known blues artists, rhythm and blues artists from off the circuit was coming into Southport. Then that Saturday, we had a program on the 27th that said they made a difference. This is when we talked about the individuals that made up what we call the greatest generation from the west side of town, basically, and Brunswick County. We're talking about teachers, military personnel, and it was well received. And Sunday, we had our Gospel Fest. That was the very first year that we had it where it wasn't live. And I can tell you, it didn't have the effect as a live one would have. And I'm praying and hoping to God that this year will be the last year we have to do Zoom. I mean, it's not that I don't like Zoom, it's the fact that being there live is a whole lot different than being on Zoom. And that went rather well. The whole weekend was dedicated to helping out Browns Chapel AME Church.
Aflac for last
Hello?
year.
Hello? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we had Donnie. Donnie will take questions at the end for.
Yeah. I'm almost done. And we had a few problems. One of the problems was that YouTube was with the music copyrights. This is the first time that I had encountered that. Before, all I had to do was say that we own no royalty rights on it, and we were able to show it, but it has changed. And we had a little problem with loss of a Wi-Fi signal and the 15-second delay. And
Donnie, unmute yourself.
Okay, Bob, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I must have hit a button. I'm trying to look at another screen. At all the events, we were given approximately, Brown's Chapel told me they received approximately $3,000 on to help out when their damage renovations from the storm. And so that was a good feeling to know that through the efforts of the Black History Symposium and the Historical Society, that was able to be accomplished, because all the monies was sent directly to Brown's Chapel. None of it came through the Black History event, nor through the Southport Historical Society. So I'd rate it all together on a scale of 1 to 10, borderline 11. That's all I have. I'll take questions now.
Okay, thank you very much, Donnie. There are no questions. Christmas home tour, Travis Gilbert. Oh,
Not yet, Bob. There's a few more things.
all right, Liz Voices of the Past with Liz Fuller will give that report.
Oh, okay. I thought, yeah, we don't have Christmas home tour in this part. This was, okay, I will do this. So Living Voices of the Past, we were able to have it this year, which was great. The year before we were not able to have it because of COVID, but because numbers were down and we were outside and everybody socially distanced, we were able to do it, and it was a big success. It was a lot of fun. We were also able to raise $660 for the society, which was great in a year when we couldn't do the home tour. So that's, if anybody have any questions about that, I'll be talking more later about this coming year's home tour. Okay, then it's back to you, Bob.
Okay, so Paddle Through History is a interesting, fun program and partnerships we have with the Adventure Kayak Company. And what we do is get out in our kayaks in local locations. And if we're at the, say, for example, at the western end of Oak Island and then down to Sheep's Island, we'll talk about the blockade running ships that are sunk there in the Lockwood Folly inlet. If we're going to Rice's Creek out near Winnebago, we'll talk a little bit of history about that area and about the two North Carolina governors who lived in Winnebago. So it's enjoyable. Members of the society are given a 10% discount on the cost of the kayak trip, and of course that cost covers your boat and your and the gear that you need to go onto the water. So it's a nice way to spend a morning, and I think everyone enjoys their time. I also like to talk about Facebook a little bit. We have a very active Facebook page with over 4,000 friends, and we really cover the gambit of things. Of course, we talk a little bit about our programs and what we're doing, and in fact, right now we are posting live on this meeting on Facebook. So if you're so inclined to use some of the social media, please join us on Facebook, as the saying goes. That's what I have. Aha. That the door project. We're one of the major sponsors of the Up Your Arts event fundraiser called Southport Open Your Doors. In fact, we started the project with Up Your Arts, and the project was really started by Ginger Harper, who donated to the society 19 doors from the house on the corner of Bay and South House Street that she had renovated. Many of those doors were original to the house, and some of the others were put in the 1950s. But it is really exciting and interesting to see what the various artists have done with a door as their canvas, and you can see the photographs and pictures there. Currently, the doors, there are 11 of them. They're at nonprofit locations around the city. There is one in the Garrison, for example, one at the elementary school. I saw there's also one at the State Port Pilot and other locations. There will be a gala event on March 27th when the doors will be auctioned off to the highest bidders. So it's kind of a fun project, nice way to generate energy within the community. And this is the Southport Shanty crew, and it was quite an event we had. I think that was, I can't remember what month it was. Was it May? The Southport Shanty crew is now up to, I think, to a dozen or so shanty singers, and the songs that we sing. I am a member of the crew. The songs that we sing come from the sailors in the 19th century. So they were essentially work songs, and just as I'm sure many of you have seen the work songs done by the Menhaden shanty singers to help them harden the catch. So it's interesting. It's a lot of fun. I think our audience has fun, and Tim Turman is one of a society member, is the leader, and Tim always pulls us back to the historical roots of shanty singing. It's much appreciated.
Boy, I haven't seen Bob in a while. He looks like he's lost some weight.
Me too.
Could you please mute? Okay, this is another event, outdoor event we had, and it was fantastic. I tell you right off, the thing I liked most about this event is that the audience really represented old and new Southport, if you will. And what the event was, a commemoration of the pilots who were lost at sea in the 1790s. It was well attended. We have just prior to the event, we had the monument cleaned, and you can see it just looks fantastic. And we may have more programs in the future, and drawing people in to clean monuments in the burying ground. As you can also see from the program, we got many others involved, including the Cape Fear Pilots Association, and of course you can see the local Boy Scout group there as well. Looking to do more of this kind of programming in the coming year. And I think Liz will be talking about a program in March to commemorate the sinking of the John D. Gale. Southport Historical Society's election of officers, and I'd like to ask Mary Ellen to handle this part of the meeting. Excuse me, of the celebration.
Thank you, Bob. As the chair of the election committee, I would like to present the slate of officers for the coming year. And they are President Liz Fuller, Vice President Bob Surridge, and Secretary Catherine Huffam. That is our slate of officers from the as recommended by the election committee. And at this time, I would like to ask, are there any nominations from the floor before we discuss voting on this slate?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I'll move forward then. I would like to make the motion that we approve this slate of officers. And again, the nominees are Liz Fuller, President, Bob Surridge, Vice President, and Catherine Huffam, Secretary. Is there a second on my motion?
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and it has been seconded. And all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 And any
Aye, aye.
opposition?
No.
Mary Ellen, who seconded that? Who was the second?
Scott Crook.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. Did you get that?
It
Okay.
was Pat. Is that what you said?
It
It
was Scott
Scott
Crook.
Crook.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't
Scott
hear
Crook. Uh-huh.
you. Mhm.
Okay. Then the motion carries. It sounded like it was unanimous. I did not hear any nays. So this is our list of new officers for the upcoming year or for this year.
Ray.
Okay, thank you, Mary Ellen.
Yes,
Before we
sir.
move to looking at the future, looking at 2022, I want to again to thank everyone for your support over the last 2 years that I've been the president. You know, in March 2020, because of COVID, we canceled all of our programs, and I have a couple of admissions. First of all, I'm a pessimistic optimist, I guess, but I have to admit that I thought about Eleanor Smith, and you may remember that Eleanor Smith was the first president of the society. Well, bear with me here. I had heard or learned that Eleanor Smith at one time lived in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, which I found to be interesting because I was born in Hollisterville, Pennsylvania, which is about 15 miles from Carbondale. So this is in March 2020, when we're canceling all of the society's programs. And that had to be a first. So I thought, being a pessimistic optimist or an optimistic pessimist, I'm not sure. So I thought, how ironic it would be if the first and the last presidents of the society were come-heres from northeastern Pennsylvania. And you all know what a comes-here is. Well, because of all of
No,
you,
we don't.
it didn't happen. In fact, as you've heard tonight, the state of the society is solid. And because of all of you, the society's future looks very, very bright. So with that, I'd like to hand over the gavel to the new president of the Southport Historical Society.
Wish I could grab it. I'd like a hammer. Thank you, Bob. Also thank you for the past 2 years as president. I've been thinking about it too. And what I thought was, I never doubted you, but I do doubt that in the 46 years of the Society's history, I doubt that there has been any president that has had a more challenging time of managing the Society. But as you mentioned, we did survive all of this. And in fact, in many ways, we've grown and we're stronger. So I want to commend you for your leadership. And I also want to let everybody know who's listening that due to Bob's exemplary leadership of the Society, the advisory board of the North Carolina Federation of Historical Societies has asked him to be a member of the board. So I'm sure he's going to be a valuable addition to that board, and that he will also learn some ideas and best practices that he can bring back and incorporate in our society. So congratulations, Bob, on that honor.
Thank you, Liz.
I'd also like to take a moment to thank everybody for selecting me to be the next president of the Society, and I hope I can do as good of a job. And I'm also very grateful to have our wonderful board of directors to work with. I'm glad that you got to hear from nearly everybody tonight. I'm so appreciative of every member of the board, and I'm impressed by your dedication to the Historical Society, and also of the many volunteers who keep things running. This is 100% volunteer organization. You probably get tired of hearing that, but it's just amazing that it's all volunteers, and we just couldn't do it without you. So now let's look at 2022, now that we've looked back at 2021, because I'd like to talk for a few minutes about what lies ahead for us. Now, I don't know if you can tell this because I have such excellent photoshopping skills, but that is not actually a 2022 baby. That baby, actually, it's not actually even a 1954 baby, but it's pretty darn close. And so that baby is actually, the picture is about 70 years old, and so is that baby. It was taken by Julie Newton's father. Julie Newton is the newest member of our board, and her father was Art Newton. He was he was a renowned photographer. He was an artist of oil and watercolor paintings. He was the first commercial artist in Southport, the first artist to try to really make a living as an artist. And we'll be talking more about him later. So coming up in February, again, we're going to be partnering and a sponsor of the 10th annual Brunswick County Black History Symposium, along with the city of Southport. And also, we've received a grant from the Brunswick County Arts Council and the North Carolina Arts Council that are going to help pay for the artistic aspects of the event, which will enable more of the funds to go to charity that the symposium raises. It's going to be a 3-day event again. It's going to be on Zoom again, unfortunately. The first day is going to be storyteller Carolyn Evans. She's going to be portraying the true story of Mamie Mobley. Ms. Mobley, it was a woman whose son was murdered, and then she channeled her grief into trying to make some positive change in the world. And one of the things she did is she taught school children to memorize and recite Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech, which was first given on the 8th anniversary of her son's death. And so it is it's a moving performance, but it's also uplifting. And we also hope to have some of the Brunswick County local children recite portions of that speech as part of the symposium. On the second day, Donnie Joyner is going to be presenting 2 programs. The first is on Dr. Willie Evelyn Reeves Turpin. She was born in 1940 on a farm in Bolivia. She went on to college and then to graduate school, and she became one of the first Black female dentists in the country. So he's going to be talking about her life. And then he's also going to be talking about the U.S. Colored Troop Company B reenactors. They do Civil War reenactment. And several of them also served as models for Stephen Hayes' statue Boundless, which commemorates the Black soldiers who fought at the Battle of Forks Road in Wilmington up at Cameron Art Institute. And then Sunday, as Donnie said, will be the Gospel Fest hosted by Mrs. Gwen Warren. And even though it's much better in person, I'm sure it will still be good on Zoom, and we can all enjoy these programs and then look forward to next year when hopefully we can all meet in person. Proceeds from this year's symposium will be going to New Hope Clinic. So the programs are all free of charge. We just, a lot of times people just want to chip in for all the hard work people are doing, and they feel grateful, and that money will go to New Hope Clinic. Then in March, as Bob said, we're going to be doing some commemoration. We're going to be commemorating the 80th anniversary of the sinking of the John D. Gale. That was an oil tanker that was torpedoed and sunk by a Nazi U-boat right off of Southport's waters, about 20 miles out. So on the 4th, I'm going to be doing an educational program, like an armchair history program, which will be a deep dive, if you will, on what happened during the attack and the aftermath. And then on the actual 80th anniversary, which is March 12th, we're going to be holding a commemoration in the Southport Community Building, which is the site of the USO building that was there at the time, and where people actually heard the explosion, saw the flames right from that site. So it's a very fitting location. And that will be in person, and it's the first in-person event we have done since that Shanty singing back in September. We will have photos and memorabilia from Southport in World War II, and we're going to be we'll have memorabilia and photos about the sinking of the John D. Gale. We will have the main speaker is the granddaughter of one of the women who served as a Red Cross volunteer, who helped care for the survivors who were brought into Southport. So it should be a very good ceremony. And then it will be followed by a wreath-laying ceremony down at the memorial on the waterfront, and a cannon firing to salute the men who lost their lives. So keep an eye out for more information on that. We will be sending that. And that also, both of these programs, the last one and this one, are both funded by that Brunswick Arts Council grant. In April, we're going to resume the popular Paddle Through History program that Bob was talking about. We'll have kayak tours led by Bob Surridge. We partner with the Adventure Kayak Company for these tours, so you can reach out to them for the times to reserve your slots, and members do receive a discount. In April, we also plan to open the Old Jail Museum again for in-person tours. Last year, we were able to open it. We had COVID protocols in place, and it went really smoothly. And we want to thank everybody who came for adhering to the rules, for being pleasant and friendly about it, and helping to keep our volunteers safe. It takes about 30 to 40 volunteers to run the Old Jail, and we really appreciate their dedication and that they went to all that effort to try to keep the jail open, even with all of those challenges. And then here is we're going to have the brick celebration. As Mary Ellen mentioned, we sold 150 bricks this year. It was due directly to the hard work of Mary Ellen Watts-Poole and Don Drabble. Then after the city, once they submit those, we get the bricks back, we check and make sure they're all okay and just what everyone ordered. Then the city of Southport grounds crew will be doing the work of laying those bricks in front of the garrison. And then once all that done, we're assuming it's all gonna be done by May. We're going to hold a celebration at Fort Johnston in person and unveil the bricks and have a good time. And so we hope that you can join us for that. On July 2nd, we're going to be offering guided cemetery tours as part of the 4th of July celebration. So Bob is going to be leading some of the tours, and I'll probably be leading some of the tours, and maybe some other people will. So they'll be in the morning of July 2nd, and I hope that you can join us for that. And I said I was going to be mentioning Art Newton again. This year would have been Art Newton's 100th birthday. So we are planning a celebration of him and his life in Southport and his artwork. And so that will be probably in September. His birthday's in August, but we're thinking we'll probably do the celebration a couple weeks later in September. So stay tuned for more details on that. And then in October, we will once again hold the Living Voices of the Past event, and we hope you can join us for that. Now, if you would like to volunteer to portray a character, we're happy to help you figure out who to portray and what to say and what to wear and where to stand and any other tips that you might need. So if you're interested in portraying a character, please reach out to us and let us know. And otherwise, just come on down and enjoy the day. It's a lot of fun. So this project is a new project. We've been working on this for a while. 45 volunteers, 45 women have been working for about 6 months now, making 60 quilt blocks. They are based on illustrations from the coloring books by Pat Carney that Bob Hagerman mentioned recently, that one of her coloring books is our top selling book, and her new book is also very popular. And so we've taken illustrations from there. She's permitted us to do that for this project. The volunteers have colored the pictures and then printed them off on fabric and then incorporated them into quilt blocks. Marilyn Ridgway is in charge of this program, and she's done similar kind of quilt projects over on Bald Head, and now we're lucky enough that she's moved to Southport. So she teaches the quilting class at Brunswick Community College, and so right now her students are working on putting all of those quilt squares into quilt blocks into big quilts. And when they're finished, we're hoping we're going to be able to display them for everybody to see, and then we will raffle them off in December at our quilt show. And at our quilt show, we will be displaying contemporary quilts and then also historic handicraft items from women who lived in Southport in the past. And that will be during Winterfest. The funds for this that we raise from the quilt raffle will be split between the Southport Historical Society, and they will also go toward Brunswick Community College Fiber Arts program that Marilyn runs. Okay, and that will be during Winterfest, and it'll be the same day as hopefully the Christmas home tour, which we have not been able to do for two years. And Travis, I don't know, are you on? I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you have anything that you want to say about the home tour for this year?
Just that I hope conditions improve by then, and looking forward. We had a great committee this year that had a false start, so hopefully we can try again and be a little more successful this year.
Great. We're all keeping our fingers crossed. We've had lots of people contact the society and say, please, please bring back the home tour. So we're going to try. If you would like to have your home included in the tour, please let us know. If you would like to volunteer as a docent on the tour, also let us know. This is not only our biggest fundraiser, it's probably also our biggest volunteer opportunity. It takes more than 50 volunteers to run this program. So if you would like to help out, we would be very grateful. So those are all the big events that we'll be doing. Of course, we're also continuing our educational programs, all right now still via Zoom. In January, we had a very popular program on Oak Island with Mike Royal and Ronnie Shannon. The recording is available now on Facebook and YouTube, and it's also right now on the front page of our website. This month, Donnie Joyner is going to be telling the story of Miss Coralie Green. She's a graduate of Brunswick County Training School, and she was a leader in the community in education and healthcare. And in March, Alexis Grave will be telling the story of Anna Jeans. She was a wealthy Quaker woman from Bob's home state in Pennsylvania. She created the Jeans Fund to train teachers and supervisors in the South to work with the African American schools. And Alexis will also be talking about her aunt Miriam Gore, who you see there on the right-hand side. She was a Jeans supervisor in Brunswick County and in Virginia. And in April, We are going to be having author Cindy Harrell Ramsey and Museum Services Director Kim Robinson Sincox, and they're going to share the memories of the crew and the amazing story of the USS Battleship North Carolina, which is America's most decorated World War II battleship that participated in every major battle in the Pacific and earned 15 battle stars. It now rests in Wilmington, North Carolina, as a memorial to all North Carolinians who gave their lives during World War II. And I know that there are locals on this call probably that remember saving their pennies to help move the ship. Catherine's raising her hand. And this picture was taken by Art Newton. And it's of the ship traveling past Southport on its way to Wilmington. And we'll show you a better picture some other time, a better view of it. I've got it somewhat covered up, but you can see the parking lot in Southport and the shrimp boat and everything in the full picture. But that was another one of Art Newton's contributions to the history of Southport. And then the ever popular Desiree Bridge is starting a new series this month. It's a quarterly series. She's going to be discussing colonial cooking and how our ancestors obtained some foodstuffs that today we sometimes take for granted. She's going to cover sweets, caffeine, spices, and grains. Her first topic for February, Valentine's month, is going to be sweets. And as if anybody has taken any other programs from Desi, you will know there will be recipes included. So at our next general meeting in March, which will be in the evening in March, we will be wrapping up our John D. Gale program. So we're doing March 4th, we're doing the armchair history about everything that happened from the crew's perspective and what happened to the U-boat afterwards and what happened to all the survivors and what happened in Southport. We're going to go into all that. Then on the 12th, we're going to have the commemoration. And then on the 24th, mine is blocked. On our next meeting in March, we will be inviting Patrick Edall of Salty Shutter Photography to come. It'll be about 2 weeks later after the commemoration. Patrick is a diver and a photographer, and so he's going to share photos of the John D. Gale as it looks today in its final resting place, 95 feet below the surface of the Atlantic. So it's been resting there for 80 years. A whole marine life has grown up around it, which is just incredibly beautiful, and it'll be a perspective on history and the passage of time from a different lens than we usually look through. So that is 2022 at a glance. I hope that you were struck as I went through that by the variety of programs that we have planned. We have tried to cover a range of topics and formats, so I hope that you found something or several somethings that interest you. Again, I'd like to remind you we are a 100% volunteer organization. Everything that we've discussed doing tonight is being done by volunteers. So if you would like to volunteer to help with any of these programs or behind the scenes doing research or writing or publicity or social media, there's lots to do and we would appreciate the help. We are a 501c3. We do not receive any local, state, or federal funding. Everything we do is supported by donations and your dues. So please send your dues in as soon as you can. Another thing you can do is to tell your friends or your neighbors about the things going on in the society and why you like it and what you think is cool and what you enjoy about it. And that's really the best way to get the word out and for our membership to grow. So we appreciate all of your support of the society. And does anybody have any questions or comments about anything that you've heard tonight? Okay. Bob, I don't know if you can see Facebook. Are there any questions or comments on Facebook?
I can't see it at this point.
Okay, well, if there are, we'll catch them later. All right. If you have any ideas for programs or topics that you'd like us to cover, be sure and let us know that as well. That's it then. I will entertain my first motion as president of the society. Would someone like to make a motion that we adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. Catherine, did you catch who it was?
There were two comments on.
Oh, there's two comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. One was from Frank Newton. Thanks, folks, for a great job running the Southport Historical Society and having a great year considering 2021 was a trying year for all of us with COVID. Zoom meetings and Facebook meetings were a great way to keep the membership informed.
Wonderful.
And he also said July 2nd might be a good time to help Bob with the cemetery tours in regards to the Newton Piner or Pinner ancestors resting there, some of his family.
Nice. All right. So thank you, Frank. And I do think we had got a motion to adjourn. Did you catch the name of the person, Catherine?
I did not. I'm sorry.
It was John Henderson.
Thank you, John.
Okay, great. And do we have a second?
A second by Mary Ellen.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. All right, we have a motion. We have seconded. And I will delegate the gavel banging to Bob since he still has possession of the gavel. We are adjourned. Good night, everyone, and thank you so much for coming.